Tennessee Titans young offensive tackle JC Latham didn't play anywhere near as bad against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 13 as the fan reaction would have you believe. However, every legitimate concern about JC Latham going forward was on display in this game, even if it wasn't all bad. I'm going to show you what I saw on tape in today's film breakdown from TITANS. Fans, welcome in to another film breakdown from TITANS, your home for Tennessee Titans X's and O's. I am your host, Tyler Rowland, 25 years as a Tennessee Titans fanatic. I've covered the team for Sports Illustrated, USA Today, and hosted the #1 Tennessee Titans podcast, Locked On Titans, for 7 seasons. In today's film breakdown, we are going to take a look at the performance of JC Latham against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 13. Latham got crushed by Titans fans after the game for some bad plays. And while those plays are alarming, there were some really good plays in there and some good play from JC Latham as well. But I think this game does display some of the long-term legitimate concerns about Latham, and we'll take a look at those right now. Before we dive into the film, do want to thank you for making Titans your home for Tennessee Titans X's and O's. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed for year-round free Tennessee Titans film content. Throw a thumbs up on the video, throw a Titan up down in the chat, and with that being said, as we always do, let's step into the film room. I think the biggest concern for me going forward with JC Latham is that his biggest superpower coming out of college was his impenetrable anchor. He could anchor down and hold his ground against anybody. And I don't know if it's because he lost 20 pounds from last year to this year, or whether it was just overbuild in college against college opponents. But Latham's anchor this season has not been anywhere near as good as I hoped it would be. I mean, look, Josh Hines-Allen is one of the best rushers in the NFL. But I'm sorry, JC Latham at 340 pounds should not be getting bullied back into the quarterback's lap like this. Like, his anchor was supposed to be his superpower, and at the end of the day, it just simply isn't anything special. Also up there with some of the biggest issue, his anchor not being as good as you expected it to be, but also what we knew would be an issue coming out of college is the foot speed. All right, Latham is a big, heavy guy, and we know that that's going to cause some struggles against speed. And what happens is Latham gets beat inside quite a bit. And some of that is because he gets so wide because he's worried about getting beat with speed to the outside. But the counter to that is once you get him to set wide, you can beat him inside and he's not quick enough to recover. And we see that in a run situation right here where he just slides right past JC. Boom. I mean, he's just way too quick of an athlete for JC Latham to be able to deal with right there. And when you put those two clips together, and when okay, if you really struggle with speed, but you have a really strong anchor, we might be able to make that work. But when your anchor isn't what it's billed to be, and you also struggle mightily against speed, well, it's a deadly combination that makes for a disappointing second season for JC Latham. This one isn't a super ugly loss or anything like that. At the end of the day, Latham does do his job and keep the guy from getting the quarterback. But it again displays how the anchor is just unsatisfactory at this time with JC Latham. He should not be getting bulled back like this by Josh Hines-Allen. I know that JHA is a good player, but look how he's just off balance. You see how easily one pop in the chest, boom, and he's off balance now and he's rocking back like a baby. Look at that. When you're 340 pounds and you were built as this strong, mauling, big, tough, physical, when you gave yourself the nickname Trench King, you should not be getting bullied and pushed back like this when anchor and size and power is your biggest strength. Like, you can't be getting destroyed against speed and getting mollywopped like that. Again, look, this isn't the worst thing ever. Look how he settles down and he's got a hold of him. But the reality is that's a bad rep, and when anchor is supposed to be your thing, it's disappointing to me. And here's what most of you already know, probably, is the speed problem, and just getting beat to the outside by a guy just quicker. We've seen Latham get beat this way multiple times this year. 7 sacks on the year in 8 games. It hasn't been as bad as maybe some fans act like and some people act like, but it still has not been good. You know, there's a middle ground of, oh, he's a bust, cut him, get rid of him, and, oh, it hasn't been that bad. The middle ground is he's just been a disappointment. But look how he just gets beat to the outside quickly here. The hands, drop him down quickly. His hands aren't strong enough. His punch, his grip. And that was something you expected out of college too, is once he got his hands on you, he could lock you out and you were done because his mitts and his paws were so strong. But it's just not been the case at the NFL level. Knocks the hand straight down, and now it's a foot race. And look how, I'm not trying to be mean, but, you know, he may have lost weight, but he still looks slow and plodding. You know, he just doesn't look like an athlete out there. And he's more athletic than I could ever dream of being, okay? So it's relative. We're comparing him to his peers. But, like, this is why some people are saying, hey, maybe he needs to go inside the guard. He just doesn't have the speed to play on the outside. So those are some of the bad plays that I think display the issues, serious issues with Latham going forward from a technique standpoint, you know. But this is a football personality problem that I'm about to go into. Finish. This dude just isn't nasty. He isn't physical. He doesn't drive through the echo of the whistle like you would want a mean, snarling offensive lineman to lead your group for the next 10 years to beat. Like, and that is what he was billed out of Alabama. Big, physical, brick wall anchor, strong hands, nasty demeanor, road grading offensive lineman. And some of these plays here, like this one, he just doesn't finish. He just doesn't finish. So right here, this isn't a bad play. Look, he slides in with Josh Hines-Allen, passes him off on the stunt, gets to this guy right here, but I want to see you finish. And look, he doesn't finish through the echo of the whistle here. He kind of stops playing, and his guy is the guy who ultimately strips the ball from Cam Ward. Like, finish, man. Keep going. Strain. Grind through. Look, he just stops. He just stops playing. Just stops blocking. If he holds this block right here, boom, Cam Ward might be able to run for some yards. He might be able to get up through here, boom, and get some yards. But because JC Latham just gives up on the play, his guy is right there, hits Cam Ward, forces a fumble. That's not all on JC Latham. It's not a terrible play from JC Latham, but just a little more effort, a little more finish, go the extra mile, run through the tape, strain through the whistle. A little bit of that would have gone a long way on that one. Here's another one it's a win. It's a winning rep from JC Latham. I'm not going to look, that's a really good rep. Really good win right there. Destroyed Dennis Gardeck. No chance. But look how he just kind of, the effort wanes here. And I'm nitpicking here. I am, but I can't help it. This is, you know, being raised by a coach. I look at the effort from JC Latham right here and tell me that this is max effort to protect your quarterback. Look, what are we doing, patty cake? I'm sorry. I know that it was a good rep. This is a good rep. But finish. Play through the whistle. Don't stop your effort. Look, he just... yeah, Patty. And look, Cam Ward is going to get sacked either way. All right, he held the ball too long. He missed Alec Io, man, or I broke down this play with Cam Ward. Josh Hines-Allen, like, this is too long, but, you know, that's just I can't help but notice little effort things like that. Here are a few in run blocking as well. JC Latham has not been anywhere near as good of a run blocker as he was billed out of college. Look, he makes a good initial block right here. Bam. Sealed his man. Good to go. Finish. Drive. Through the whistle. His guy ends up making the tackle. Sheds him. Do you see that? Shed, and now I'm right there. Devin Lloyd's right there, of course. He's fully side of Luakan. He didn't do it alone. But I would just like to see JC Latham drive his man and not get thrown to the side here. Drive, finish, take him all the way. You get Shed, your guy's right there to drive the guy down into the ground. Like, I just want a little bit better from my number 7 overall pick, top 10 pick offensive lineman. Call me a nitpicker if you want. I don't care. Another example right here of finishing in the run game. So you're going to get a double team right here with Gunnar Helm and JC Latham on a zone run scheme. And it works out great at first. And this, again, not a bad rep by Latham. Look at a good initial pop there from Gunnar Helm. He's gotten so much better as a blocker as the year has gone on. Good pop there. Look at that. Good blocking. But look what Latham. Drive your man. be low, control, finish, be a dog, be an elite offensive tackle, be a road grading offensive lineman. And his guy sheds him and ultimately gets first contact on Tony Pollard. Let me just say this too, Tony. Where are you going? It's a bad run. Tony Pollard's washed for what the Titans are trying to make him. But again, Latham, drive your man, finish the play. That's all I'm asking. All right. Now again, while we've gone over the legitimate concerns about Latham going forward with his anchor not being as good, dealing with speed and inside counters, the finish problems that I'm worried about, Latham did generally have a pretty good game. Other than those, 4 in the finish plays that we looked at weren't even terrible reps. I just want to see him finish to the whistle. The bad plays, there were only a couple at the beginning of the video. To start, you saw a lot of good plays, and here we see some really good reps from JC Latham. This is why I think it's completely unfair for certain Titans fans to say he's a bust, terrible pick, this guy can't play, even the crazy ones, cut him, blah, 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 this and that. Like, that is just a step too far. This is not a bad football player. It's just uncertain right now whether he can deal with playing offensive tackle. He may need to be the Titans' right guard, and it would be a pure disappointment for the Titans to have chosen a guard with pick number 7 a year after taking a guard pick number 11. Like, that's just not smart roster building in the NFL. But, that might be where we're at. But again, against guys without major speed, like a Danny Strigo here, Latham with a really good rep does his job. Right here, another guy without speed. That's more of a bigger size defensive end, defensive tackle type guy. And JC Latham perfectly has the strength. And this is why some people think, hey, maybe guard. Because look at how well he deals with the bigger guys who don't have the speed. He's not as worried about the speed. He has more confidence in his power and his anchor when he's not worried about the speed. He stays more on balance. So that's why you might look at him and say, hey, playing in a phone booth, he might be more secure in his anchor, which means the anchor problems aren't as bad as they look when he's at the edge dealing with the speed. This is a good rep right here. These last two of like, hey, maybe he should go to guard. But nonetheless, those are good reps. Like, he did not play in the overall a terrible game as much as you would think. And look, here, dealing with the stunt from Josh Hines-Allen. Speed, washes him inside, takes the guy. That's a good rep right there. Good job, JC Latham. Good job moving the feet. Good job using the hands. And then here, Dennis Gardeck washes him inside, is there for the stunt. These balls are getting out quick, but hey, he's doing his job. So those are some good reps, picking up stunts, winning one-on-one. The problem is that there are no like big-time one-on-one wins against Josh Hines-Allen in one-on-one true situations. He mostly got beat because the speed is the problem. So to say that JC Latham is a terrible player who is a total waste and isn't even a starter, that's a lie. But to say that he hasn't been a disappointment this year, I think that would also not be true either. Titans fans, I hope you guys enjoyed that film breakdown on JC Latham, getting a better understanding of where Latham actually was in this game against Jacksonville and what the legitimate concerns are going forward. Again, I think the reaction to JC Latham was overblown, but to have no concerns about Latham going forward, I think that would also be a lie, quite frankly, as well. That wouldn't be an honest evaluation of where Latham is at. But with that being said, again, if you want to have a better understanding of the Tennessee Titans, you want to learn more about the team, a deeper knowledge of the game, make sure that you stay tapped in here with me at the Tic Tac Titans film channel. Year-round free Tennessee Titans film content. I do a lot of draft content, free agency content as well, so I'll have that ready to go for you guys. And when the Titans get a new head coach, I'm going to be diving into their offense and what we can expect from their scheme on both sides of the ball as well. But with that being said, that's going to do it for me today, folks. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Again, thumbs up on the video, tighten up down in the chat, get subscribed, stay subscribed. As I tell you, every episode of Tic Tac Titans, tighten up.